Alrighty, hello and welcome back everybody to another tutorial video. And today we're going to be talking about this tab down here, the factions, and what to expect in your game, how you can differentiate factions, and what to expect when they show up. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the tribes. So there's the Gentle Tribe, the Fierce Tribe, and the Savage Tribe. Now the difference from them is obviously how they are related to you. So the Gentle Tribe starts out as neutral, and you, as it says, you can trade with them, and they have a natural goodwill range between -50 and 50, so it's stable in this area. It will fall if it's higher and increase if it's lower. These are generally pretty good little trading group, and you can see them as caravans once in a while. Now, then you have the Fierce Tribe. These are obviously start out hostile, and their goodwill will drop if it's ever above -80, but you can get them to a neutral state or even to an ally if you send them gifts or pick up their downed people and release them. But again, it will drop and they will eventually become hostile again. Now then there's the Savage Tribe. These are similar to the Pirate Bands as they are always permanently hostile, as it says there. They will continually raid. And it's nice, this used to be a Fierce Tribe, so that you could bring them up. However, you will always have some sort of tribes that are going to fight you. It's very easy to differentiate them. The Gentle Tribe is straightforward, just a straight TP with no top. The Fierce Tribe does have that top, so maybe if you think about them as like having little spears at the top. And then the Savage Tribe does have this like jagged, much more jagged look. So if you're looking on the world map, it's very easy to distinguish the three. Okay, there is the Gentle Tribe, the Fierce Tribe, and the Savage Tribe. So yeah, also generally the darker red color is saved for that Savage Tribe as well as the pirates. So going back, one other thing about tribes is that they are often harder to recruit. This was definitely before the 1.1 patch. I haven't seen enough of the different recruiting between individuals to see if there's a difference between the Savage Tribe and the Gentle Tribe personally, but there's no indication that so far that they are harder, just that tribes are harder to recruit than the unions and the pirates. I think this is historically because there is a language difference, i.e. they are a tribe, they are less technologically advanced, and possibly of a different language group, is, I think, the original thoughts. So, things to know about tribal raids. Alrighty, so next we're going to talk about the raids themselves from this group. If you look at tribal raids, you do have the option of them coming from different areas, such as this raid itself, from the 3 different corners. Now, one thing to note is the individuals from a tribal raid are generally have weaker weapons. I mean, Apila is a pretty strong weapon, but they generally have bows, spears, let's get them all, knives, great bow, recurve bow, all types of bows. Same with there, and same here. And spears. They can have, I believe, maces and clubs as well, but generally more melee weapons and bows. On top of that, if you look at their gear, they can maybe have a war mask, but they generally don't have armor. So war masks are, I guess, technically armor. That's why I said it. If we look at these 6 as well, they generally don't have any armor of sorts. The only time you will have an individual that has armor is if it is a faction leader. And then they'll generally have some plate armor. So not, I don't know why I keep doing that. Not flak vest or anything of that sort. So generally, tribal raids have a much larger number of individuals coming. But of course, they have less dangerous weapons. and not, guns. Now, we have a pretty succinct kill box. So, as you can see, you can cut through them very easily if you have high firepower. Obviously, they do have that benefit of being high numbers, so it'll be much harder to cut them down if they can overwhelm a very, say, small colony. Alrighty, so on top of that, it seems that recently there was an update. Before, in all raids, it was a 50%. If you can knock down 50%, they would run away. If we look here, there was originally, let's see, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So before it would have been 9 people left running, but right now we have 5. So it seems they have increased the threshold required to initiate, to force raids to quit. Extremely noticeable on pirates and these savage tribes. So, yeah. Tribes, let's go back over them. Gentle, start neutral. Both fierce and savage start hostile, but you can get the fierce to go up. Generally, much less armor, such as here, but with weapons such as a recurve or spears. So much less technologically advanced weaponry, but high amount of numbers. Alrighty, so I didn't notice there was actually the 3 groups were in separate raiding parties since even though they all came together. But yeah, here there was 5 that came from this bottom right corner, and it took 3 of them, obviously, to knock them out to get rid of them. And I guess, yeah, one last thing, we can't look at how hard it would be to recruit them as they're sitting there. But yeah. Higher numbers, weaker weapons, and generally lower technology. Alrighty, so the next thing to talk about is the similar technological level as Crash Landed Survivors is the unions, the Civil Outlander Union, the Rough Outlander Union, and, well, not a union, the Pirate Band. Now, these all, of course, have generally similar armaments. Typically firearms, some maces, and they also have armor as well. Just thinking about the raids. On top of that, they're very similar to the 3 tribals. Now, the Civil Outlander Union, of course, starts neutral, and it will get positive or negative, and it's stable between negative 50 and 50, very similar to the Gentle Tribe. Now, the Rough Outlander Union is exactly the same with the Fierce Tribe. They start as minus 80. If it's above that, it will drop. And they also, of course, start hostile. Now, you also have the Pirate Men, similar to the Savage Tribe. They're completely hostile. They can never get above negative 100. So yeah, the colors are not as noticeable for the 4 that are possible to be allies, but there is a difference in the images. So a nice little house, that is your Civil Outlander Union. One that looks maybe a little bit more fortified, at least to me. This Ithuam Keen League, that's your Rough Outlander Union. And, of course, the Skull and Crossbones is your Pirates. I feel like that one's pretty on the head. I don't need to explain it more. Yeah, there's not much else to say. They follow the same kind of ideas. These groups, these factions, are able to do drop pods. So you can have your allies, say the Civil Outlander Union, if you make them happy with you. They can do a drop pod to save you, but the 2 raiding groups are more likely to be drop podding to attack you. Otherwise, they raid. You can trade, obviously, with the Outlander Union, and so on and so forth. So let's see a raid in action. And now we're going to look at a raid from non-tribal factions, and specifically the pirate faction, the Porcupine Men. So again, these are generally more well-equipped, and as such, you can see this raid has transport pods. So they can just enter on the side like a normal raid. They can have sappers, which try and burrow through defenses, or like this, they can have transport pods where they might crash into the middle of your base and then split out. In that case, so this isn't a very well set up base for that. So we're going to look at the Porcupine Men raid. On top of having more and better weapons, such as an LMG, let's just look at all of their weapons. So they generally have more, oh, that is scary. More dangerous weapons. So obviously, Doomsday rocket launcher, gigantic rocket launcher, chain shotgun. These are much more deadly weapons than the bows we saw earlier. On top of that, we can look at characters. So if you look at this individual, they have a recon helmet, flak vest. So they generally have more and better armor. Not every single one has armor, but they might have flak pants, flak vest. I guess every single one seems to have armor in this group, but they might not. They're more likely to have armor, I should say. So, of course, raids can go much more dangerously here. Let's get T-Bro up to fight off Shadow. Now, if we're lucky that... Can you attack him? I'm just going to let this go out. I know I have the development mode on. This is to force raids. Good. The Doomsday rocket launcher is gone. And T-Bro, can you actually come over here? So yeah, as you can see, they can kind of withstand a lot more damage thanks to their weapons and armor. Ooh, to the point where they actually destroyed. And again, if we look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know how I got 15 the first time. 13, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up. So already more than half are down. There we go. That's 5 of 13 left, so that's well over 50% are knocked out and before they finally give up. So these raids, again, take more people to probably fight. You're going to have to be a little bit more intuitive with how you react, since they can take more damage and deal way more damage. But yeah, so that is a raid by a non-tribal, a union, and a comparatively similar tech level as ourselves. Alrighty, so let's talk about the last group, the Shattered Empire, the Imperials, the Royalty of the Royalty DLC. So they do start off neutral to yourself. They have this lovely image of what looks like a pillar, the bottom of a pillar. And as it says, they are an ultra-tech society. What to say about them? This is how you get your royal factions. And I believe there's only one spot on the map that is their... I don't know why I'm doing that. There is only one spot on the map that is theirs. This might change if you have a much higher populated individual or map. But I believe they do only have one specific area. And you actually require title to trade there. The other thing is there was a recent update, the number is slipping my mind, that changes the Shattered Empire to be enemies with everybody except yourself to start. This was because there was an issue with them coming in to help you in a raid that they weren't an enemy with. So if, said, you push a gentle tribe or a civil outlander to an enemy, they would drop pod in and just not do anything. Now, as it says, they're an ultra-tech refugee society. I haven't fought them a ton, so as you can see, this game doesn't have them as an enemy. So I can't say much about them, but let's go and force a fight and see what they have. Alrighty, so we have a raid from the Blue Imperium, the Imperial factions, and as you can see, they have much different weapons. Now, they do have some melee weapons, so steel axe, of course, that's pretty easy to get, but a Zeus hammer. Yeah, so they have much stronger weapons. Like, as you can see, they do have some of the standard guns as well, your assault rifle, your sniper, your SMG, but they do have some charge rifles as well. So they have much higher tiers, charge lance. On top of that, as you can see, bio-coded, and not bio-coded. So some weapons are bio-coded, meaning you can't pick them up, you can't use them. So the weaponry is pretty straightforward. As we talked about. Now gear, they of course do come a little bit more armored as well, unlike the tribals. Let's see, is there any fancy looking armors? Well, this guy, the cataphract armor, so some pretty strong armor as well. But they can have just recon armor, just shield belts. One thing I have noticed is that almost all melee characters have a shield belt. So keep that in mind if you're like, oh, they only have a couple axes or a couple bows, not bows, hammers, because, oh, it's only like a small raid. Yeah, they can still get in, and I mean, if they have a hammer, they can really mess you up. How much damage does that thing do? Yeah, it does 11 damage. Does a lot, and EMP burst. So it can shut down some of your gear. Like, it might, if it gets into the weapon, it can shut it down. One other thing to note, Death Acidifier. Death Acidifier. Boom, boom, boom. Every single one seems... Oh, I'm like, wow, he doesn't have one. Almost every single one has Death Acidifier. Upon death, these characters will... all of their items will get destroyed. You can't get that shield belt because it'll get destroyed. So if you can knock them down and steal their stuff, it's a good idea, especially for characters such as this. On top of that, you can have some glands, which improve their armor. Might slow them down, but improves their armor. And obviously bionic items in them as well. So let's check out how this raid goes. So, oh, I didn't even notice the second part. Again, very similar weapons. Some are, no bio-coded, but you have your Zeus hammer. They have these other war hammers as well. Even these can do a beast amount of damage. Let's check out this character. These warhammers still do 6 damage, so still dangerous. Another one, let's just check that one out. Yeah, 6 damage. It's because it's wood. Alrighty, so they can generally take more hits and deliver more. They have more advanced weaponry, but let's just do this count. So there's 10, there's 21 of them. And we might want to get T-Bro up here. But yeah, as I said, those warhammers, as this character had, can shut down your weapons. So that was the first group. That was a group of 10. There is only 4 up. So 60% of them had to get knocked. Let's take T-Bro out here. And this is a group of 11 moving in. With the cataphract armor guy, character, really far behind. But as you can see, the Death Acidifier just takes everything off. So you get none of their clothes, nothing. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 11 standing. So it took 5 of 11 standing. So it took more than 50% again. So what to note today as a final wrap up? Factions. If it looks like a little tent, these are your tribes. They're generally, the raids themselves are much weaker. One thing I haven't talked about, their names are also seemingly a little bit more Spanish. Briexo, Togua, Trescu. So if that helps you kind of differentiate them coming in, if you can't maybe remember what they are when it comes down the side. As there's more items added to it, the more dangerous and more hostile they generally are to that little teepee. Same thing with the house. It looks like a house. If it gets a bigger, and then if it gets skull and crossbones, these are your Outlander unions. The Empire itself, while it's a fun thing to do, if you get into a war with them, they carry a big stick. So be careful. Hopefully that helped you with the enemies today. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon. Bye.